Okay, so I'm going to be doing a meetup group tomorrow night. My Freed Cove Camp, New Jersey meetup group. I'm going to be giving this talk tomorrow night, so I'm just giving it a little test run here. What the heck? Just let's see how it goes. So this is warts and all. Let's see. There may be errors and whatnot. Doing this partially just for practice to see how the timing is and everything. I want to see how long it takes me to walk through it. I assume doing it as a workshop will take a little longer, but I just want to get some ideas. So here we go. Okay, so welcome to the Freed Cove Camp meetup. I'm going to be giving you all an intro to Gatsby. We're going to go from zero, getting you started, and all the way to getting it deployed on Netlify. If we have time. If we don't have time to manage all of that, we can meet, we meet every week, twice a week. We can always make this into a part two, but hopefully we can, whether we get through everything I want to or not, maybe we can stop and get it on Netlify, and then next week when we do the other changes, we can just continue to upload it, okay? Bear with this URL on the bottom here. There's nothing there right now. Eventually there will be, so apologies if there's nothing there when you look at it. So let's take a look here at Gatsby. What's the deal with Gatsby? It's a static site generator, right? But it's really what they call it themselves. The people from Gatsby like to call it is a progressive web app generator because it's more than just static sites. You can get data from all kinds of different places, from APIs, from WordPress, from local storage, from a wide variety of stuff, and it uses the GraphQL as its means for organizing and retrieving all that data and displaying it to the web page. I don't know if I said this. It's a React-based framework, so when you're programming in React. Which is great if you're a React person. Here's a great site generator for you. So let's hop right in here. I'm going to install Gatsby and start a new project. I'm assuming that if you have come this far, you probably know a little bit about React. If you know a little bit about React, you probably have Node installed, and you probably have a GitHub, right? So I'm just assuming those are true, and if you don't, you can pause this video and go figure that part out, okay? So it has a command line interface tool, right? So it's npm install gatsby CLI, and you want to install that globally. Once that's done, I already have that done, so I'm not going to do that right now, but once you have that installed, it'll go through its motions. It'll take a couple minutes to get through there, get everything running. To start a new project, you're going to type Gatsby new, as you can see here. Gatsby new, and you can give it different starter templates to begin with. This is like really the most basic one. It's the hello world where it says Gatsby new hello world. You don't have to call it hello world. You could call it Gatsby new, Alex's new Gatsby site, but you still have to give it a URL. So you have Gatsby new, the name of your site, and the URL of your starter file. Okay, we're calling it Hello World because the starter file we are using is called Hello World, Gatsby starter Hello World. Okay, once that downloads and installs everything, you're going to cd into the directory you created. If you called it Hello World, you will cd into the Hello World directory. To start your Gatsby site, right there you can start editing code and whatnot. But to get the site running, you're going to type the command npm run develop. You could run. I have a note there, not Gatsby develop. You can type. There's commands you can run with Gatsby, like Gatsby new, for instance. So we already did. You can do Gatsby develop. I use npm run develop. There was something I was working on. Honestly, I don't remember what it was, but there was some weird thing where the way we got around the error was saying npm run develop instead of Gatsby develop. I don't know I don't know what happened under the hood, but I know saying that instead of Gatsby develop made it magically work. So basically, if you look in the JSON, package JSON in the scripts, npm, or gatsby develop basically says npm run develop. So I don't know why it works, but it did, so I just do it that way. Okay? So if that's what you're doing and you're comfortable with you working locally on the command line, awesome. We're gonna go through that. If that's not as comfortable for you, or you want to, your machine is slow or something, you don't want to do it that way, we can do it in Code Sandbox, and that's what I'm going to do here right now, so you can follow along with me. Go to codesandbox.io, and I'm going to do that right here. Well, I thought I had it up already. Okay, anyway, you're going to go to Code Sandbox. We can go full screen with this too. Go to Code Sandbox. There it is. Let's get rid of this one. Whoop, that's not it. Oh, man. Oh, that's a bummer. Let's see what I can do about that. And go to my slides. Sorry for this. Hey, things happen live. This will probably happen to me tomorrow night when I'm doing it live too. So let's get used to it, I guess, right? Going through problems. Okay. Present if it will load for me. Come on now. There it comes. Oh boy. Come on now. Here it comes. Any day now. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. I clicked the wrong thing. Codesandbox.io, create new. When I click the create, the plus is the create new, right? Did I do that? I forget what I did already. Okay, so you go to Code Sandbox. Oh boy, my internet's slow. You're going to say create a sandbox. Well, I hope I have a faster internet connection tomorrow night when I'm doing this. Okay. Instead of doing one of these templates, we're going to go down here, right? Instead of create the new, where was it? Oh boy, I got to get used to my left and right swiping. Instead of saying new Gatsby site, we could do that, but that's a different template than the one we want to use. We're going to import one from GitHub. Boy, left and right. We're going to import it from the GitHub, which you saw my link. I clicked the link, was down at the bottom of the page. It said import from GitHub. This is the one we're going to use from the Gatsby's JS GitHub. It's called Gatsby Starter Hello World. It's really totally bare bones. Okay. I already happen to come in autocomplete there. So you'll type it in though. Don't worry about this. Open Sandbox. It will open. It will do its thing. It will start up. I'm going to resize some of these things to give us as much room as we can get here. While it's thinking, I'm going to do that. Okay. Files. Okay. We can see everything that's going on there. This, for the things we're doing, it doesn't need to be that big. So we can just move it over there. Okay, it's starting, it's thinking, it's installing things. So just give this a minute. Boy, my fan is jamming. I wonder if it's because I have this stuff full screen or what. I don't know. Maybe it's because I have the screen recorder going. Remind me not to do the screen recorder tomorrow night. So anyway, so here's your hello world, okay? Don't worry about that 404. It's just because we're starting with such a stripped down one, we don't even have a 404 page. Okay, so as we were saying, man, I got to get that left and right swipe. Okay, so that's that. We got a new project up, and it started creating pages in Gatsby. Okay, if you're doing along with Code Sandbox with me, you just go to, don't worry about this hello world, but if you're doing it locally, you created the hello world folder, right? You're going to go into the source folder and pages. The home page is index.js, or the root route, right? Just like a plain old HTML site. So for instance, here in our source pages, index.js, this is the main page that's going to come up. So it is basically a React component, React functional component, could be a class component, doesn't really matter. You make a change in here to return something. Hello from Alex's cannot edit in read only. Sign in with GitHub. Why am I not signed in already? I signed out because I wanted to make sure I got the process of starting the new file, yada yada. Anyway, signing in, that's better. Okay, so now, hello from Alex's world. And when you hit save, it will do its thing and reload. Okay, it's reinitializing, probably because I signed in. It's not going to do this every time we make a change. Do this once and it should be back to doing its nice quick thinking that it's supposed to do. I'm on a slow internet connection here. I am going to be going to work in a little while. And I'm on the work Wi-Fi. So bear with me. So you can see it change. Hello from Alex's slow world, alright? So save it. Compiled successfully. Much better that way. I didn't have to recompile all that stuff. Option Z. I did Option Z on here because it toggles the word wrap, okay? Alright, so that's the home page, okay? The deal with this pages folder here, when you want to make a new page in Gatsby, you make a new file in the pages. So in a regular React site, you have to use a router to go to different pages. Routing is handled automatically for you in Gatsby. All you need to do is create a new page, and let's do like about.js. Let's steal the code from here. It'll be a little quicker. Control A, copy, about, put it over here. I like to do the default down at the bottom, so let's do this. We're going to say const about equals, right? And then down here, export default about. Okay. Now, we have that about page from Alex's. How about this one? We'll call this content from the about page. Save that. And now if we go here, all we have to do is say about and enter. That's compiles content from the about page. Okay. Okay. So let's make a couple pages here that we can work with throughout the process of this video. So you can do that as a little exercise for yourself right here. Well, like I said, Gatsby takes care of routing for you. Files created in this folder You just go whatever the page, whatever you called that about.js, that's going to be the URL. About.js is going to be /about. Okay, create a component in the file to render something to the page. So that's what we did here. We just made a new component, and whatever the component renders, it's what's going to be on the page. Add a few pages. Take a minute, add an about, a contact, a schedule, or 2 or 3 pages, okay? Pause the video for a second and see if you can get that done. And then when you come back, we will do it together. Oh boy, this left and right. So I said about, contact, and schedule, right? So let's do this. Control A and copy. We're just going to make a couple pages. They're all going to be basically the same for now. So new page, contact.js. Okay, change the about. Control D is going to give me the next things. Automatically highlight all the word about. So I'm going to change that to contact and hit save. And then this should be working in contact. Right, the contact page. Let's do one more. Let's do the schedule page. I'm going to paste this content in. And again, we'll do Control D to select the next couple. And that should recompile. And now I can go to schedule. It should be there. Content from the schedule page. Okay. And we're just back to home to the root route. All right, good. So done creating that. That's how you create a page. What's next? Links. Okay. Anchor tags. Normal HTML anchor tag. They work, but they're going to reload the whole page. Internal pages in Gatsby. You're going to use the link component, but we need to get that from Gatsby. Okay? And I'll show you what I mean. So let's start back here in the root route. Okay. Let's have a let's make something going on here a little better here. All right. This all needs to be in a parentheses. I'm gonna have multi lines. So let's make a little h1. Oh boy, that's slow. I think it must be because I have my screen recorder on and I'm using an older laptop here. Presumably that's the problem. So anyway, h1 Alex's site. Okay. Is that going to show up? It should show up. Okay, Alex's site, and we're going to make a couple of links. We'll put them in a list, just like you would for any other navigation, right? If anybody knows how to make the Emmet autocomplete work in code sandbox, please let me know, because it doesn't ever seem to work for me. Like normally I would say ×3 and hit tab, and it's going to give me 3 list items, but it doesn't work for me here. I don't know why. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So we'll just do it manually. It does work though, is if you say Shift and Option and down arrow, it will just copy whatever line you're on down. That's a good trick. So we said we were going to do okay, I'm going to show you the difference between an anchor tag, an old school anchor tag, and the Gatsby or the React router link tag. So let's just start with an anchor. /about. About page. So that should be there. Okay. And that's going to work, right? But you see the content goes away, thinks about it, goes and gets it. There it is, finally, okay? And you're going to see in a minute when we get this back here. You can't just put the link in, we have to import it from Gatsby. So you say import. You have to tell it what you're importing. Link from Gatsby. Now we have access to this link component, and it is the component. Oh, I hate when it tries to be nice to me and self-close those. Alright, so it's a component, right? And instead of saying the href, you say to, and you say about, and about using the link component. I'm going to be misspelling stuff because I can't see it as I type. Oh, that was good though. Okay, so let's see. Let's see if it recompiles. Okay, so you saw the about page with the regular anchor tag. Everything goes away. It loads the page. Instead of doing that, if we use the link tag, it's instantaneous, right? Did you see how fast that was? It's like nothing happened. There's no flash of unstyled content or that flash of an empty page that you get. Watch how fast this is. Now watch how slow the anchor tag one is. Disappears, it comes. Way better, right? So you're still going to use the anchor tag when you're doing external sites, like if you're going to link to your home page or, well, you know what I mean, any page you're going to use. You still need to use the anchor. But we're going to get rid of that. Let's see, what did I say? Okay, exercise, add links to the pages made in the previous step. Just using what we did as the example there, take a minute and in that unordered list, make links to the rest of your pages. But also you'd like to make an external link to some site of yours, whether it's Twitter, or if you don't want to put something of yours, you just make a link to Google or whatever you feel like. Make a link to Gatsby homepage, gatsbyjs.org or something. Okay, so take a minute, pause the video, see if you can get that to happen, and then come back. Okay, so I'm just gonna do, so this one we're gonna change, instead of anchor, we're gonna make this a link also. Oh, except this is not going to be about. This is going to be the home page, which is just the slash, right? So this link text will be home, about, we can just say about. Let's get this going. Let's just do this. Go up here, highlight these, shift option down, right? And shift option down, we'll make this contact, schedule, hit save. So it comes up here. Okay, it looks like it's working. Home, about, back, contact, schedule from the schedule. Okay, so this is basically a little nav bar, right? So what if we want to make a reusable header component? Okay, so so far we made pages, which are a whole, the full page. What if we want to just use reusable components? If you're new to React and you don't understand what I mean, if you look at your average web page, it has the header with the logo and some navigation, and then there's the main content. Maybe on the left side you have some other information, some minor navigation, and on the bottom you usually have some sort of footer with some copyright information and maybe links to other things. And so in React and all the other modern frameworks are component based. You pull pieces out and you compose them back together, as opposed to old school HTML where it's just you have a page and everything is coded all on the page. Here we make a component and plug the component, import and plug in the component to the page. So we're going to make some of these components now. Page components, like I said, they go in the page directory, they get a name, and that's the root. Reusable components, the smaller chunks, we're going to make a new folder, and we're going to put them in their own. We're going to put these pages in their own folder. We're going to call it components in the source folder, and then we'll be able to import them wherever we want to use them. So let's make a header component. Okay, so first we said we need to, in the same level as pages, which is the source, we need to make a new folder. I'm going to call it components. We're going to make a new file in here. We're going to call this, let's call it the header. That seems to make sense. We're going to make, what do I have copied? It's on my clipboard. Ah, cool, we still have a functional component. So we're going to call this header. Okay, except that instead of this silly content, let's go back to the index, because we're going to reuse this stuff we said, right? So all this stuff would normally be in the header. You'd have the title of the page and this sort of navigation, right? So let's cut all of this out of here. We want to leave something here. We don't want to leave it bare, so let's give it, so this is index page content. Oh boy, that is some slow moving computer. This thing the fan is going like crazy. So then we can go over to here, and instead of this div, we will put this stuff that we said would make sense to be in a header, right? This might not work because, like I said, I think all of this stuff needs to be, two things going on here. I think when you have multi-lines, it needs to be wrapped in parentheses, I believe. Let's try it without parentheses, but the other problem is going to be is that you can't have two things on the same level, two components on the same level. They have to be wrapped inside something. So here I have the header and the unordered list on the same level. Can't do that. It's got to be in its own new thing, so we'll just make a div. Okay, so we'll put all this stuff inside div and let's see if those errors go away. Let's try that. So why is that giving me all that error on that link? Anybody know? Because we need to import link from Gatsby. And on that note, we don't need that over here anymore. We can get rid of that. You see it was sort of grayed out. Okay, header, those went away. Let's see if I need those parentheses. I guess it did. I hit save and put them in there, right? Save. So now what? Okay, compiled successfully. What's going on? Well, it doesn't just magically go anywhere. You have to tell it where to go, right? So as with when you import, need to use a component in React, you import it. Import the header from, and we're now in the index page. We're in the pages directory, so we need to go up a level and then into the components and get the header page. Now I should have access. This error is probably saying we have it, but we never used it. So instead of having, that's supposed to be the page content, right? So let's not make that H1 first of all. Let's just make that a paragraph. Okay, makes more sense. HP, of course, that makes sense. Okay, so now we have access to this header component. inside here, because it has to be inside one parent, right? You can't have two on the same level, or at least on the outer level. Now you can call header, and we will hit save, and voila, it should be there. There it goes. Okay, so look at that. All we have here, this is the home page now. It has the header, which we imported from our header file, and we have the page content. Look at that. It's pretty cool, right? So let's put this header on another page. So you can see the point of all of this, right? So you have to do the same thing. Import header from out of the pages directory into the components directory and get the header file. Yeah, okay. So then we can do header, and this content line here, that should really be in a p tag or something. Hopefully when I do this it'll oh my goodness, really? And this computer is just crying. When I do this tomorrow, remind me not to have the screen thing going. Okay. Let's see if it auto-formats it for me. There you go. That's much nicer, right? I don't like that. Let's see if we get this on its own. That makes more sense. Yes. Control save. Okay. Now if we go to the, which one was this? About. This should also automatically, look at that. It has the header there. Contact doesn't because we didn't put it in yet, right? So here's your assignment. What I want you to do is put this header on the rest of the pages, the contact page and on the schedule page. And then also want you to, let's see, did I say good? Okay, so here, this is what we were just doing. We created a new file called header.js and created a new functional component, returning some content. Use the link tags, import your header, create a footer. So I want you to finish putting that header into all the pages, and you're going to create your own footer component, and then you're going to put that on each page too. Okay, in the bottom. In your footer, we're going to do a link. I want you to have a link, an internal link using the link component, and an external link with the A tag. Okay, so take a minute, hit pause, see if you can get that figured out, and then come back to me. Okay, so here we go. We're going to finish putting this onto the two other pages. Contact page. Okay. Import header from up out of the pages into the components. Grab the header. Okay, we said this we want to be in a paragraph. And go. Content from the content page. From the contact page, we're going to move into this paragraph, and we're going to have, I know this looks crazy when I'm doing it like this, but I'm just saving myself some typing. If I do it correctly and I hit save, it'll auto-format and everything, and it'll look fine. Sometimes that's a good way to know whether you actually did it right. I don't know if this. Some people might say that's cheating. I don't know. So hit save. My point is, if you don't get it right, it won't auto-format it correctly for you, right? So let's see. The home page is working. The about page is working. The contact page is working. The schedule page still doesn't have it. So let's get the schedule page going. Import header from out of the pages folder into the components folder. Grab the header. You know what I should do? We should have been doing this already. Let's just do this. Grab all of this. Put it in the schedule. grab all of this, get all of that, find the contact, get all of those, call on a schedule, and we are done with that. Content from the schedule page should recompile, and it should be content. So these are all working now. Home, about, contact, schedule. Awesome. So the second part of the assignment here was to create a footer component and put those on all the pages. Okay, so let's get started on that. Remember how to make a footer component? Okay, it's not a whole page, so it goes in the components. I'm going to create a new file and call it footer.js. Your footer is going to be a functional component, so we still have that in my clipboard, so we can use that. We don't need this line. We're going to call this footer. Footer is not going to contain the header, so we certainly need to get rid of that. We said we wanted to use some links in it, though. Do you remember what we need to do to use the link? We need to import link from, where it comes from? It comes from Gatsby. Okay. Then we can content from the footer page. Let's say let's just tell it to go home, right? Let's do this. So we'll say, we're just going to give, because we have the nav on the top, we don't need to do a full nav, but it's nice to have a home button sometimes, so we can say, what's it doing now? Okay, we'll go here, we'll say link to slash is home, and say go home. And then down here, inside a paragraph, we will give it a created by Alex Nielsen. And we're going to give it a link. Equals https://twitter.com/Big Al's house. Yes, I know, it's a silly name. And we'll say at Big Al's house. Save. And why doesn't anything happen? You tell me. Because we need to import it, right? So let's go back to the index page. And again, let's just copy this down. Shift Option down arrow. Change this from header to footer. And this one to footer. Then we will have access to the footer as a component. And we hit save. We're on the schedule page. We want to be, oh, what happened there? Unterminated string constant in footer. Gatsby, I did not close my Gatsby. See that? That looks better. Will it compile this time? It compiles. Go to the home page, see if it's there. Click the wrong link. Go home. Created by Alex Nielsen at Big Al's house. Okay, Big Al's house. Does the link work? This in Code Sandbox here is not going to take us there. If we open this button makes the opens this site in a new window. If we do it here, it should work. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so Twitter. By the way, follow me on Twitter because that's what Twitter's for, right? Okay. So that works. This works. Let's get back to here. Let's hit reload. I didn't like doing that. So we got the footer working. The next part of the assignment was to finish this. You're going to put the footer on all the pages, right? So let's do that real fast. Real fast. That's the footer. So we're going to go to index, right? Already has the footer, so we need to go about. Shift, option, down, arrow. Copies the line down. We're going to say footer. From footer. And then we can say footer. And it should be on the about page too. There it is. Let's look at the contact page. Do the same thing. Import footer from / components. And then we can say footer. And it should work. Okay, I'm going to stop this video because you can see my battery is running out and I do not want to lose any work. When we come back, we still have one page to go, but I'm sure you can handle it. And we will continue on from there. We'll make it into a part 2 of this video. Thank you for watching so far. Still can't swipe the right direction.